Okay, we should be good to go. Welcome back, everyone, to a very impromptu Fight and Revive episode. Little live stream here. I was not to do this, but here we are. Indeed, I'm just checking the final touches now, making sure we've got everything right in terms of thumbnails and settings and all that fun stuff. So we're going to jump into this in just a second. We're only going to be doing about a half an hour stream here, but I figured, the election results are still coming in and everything. And so I wanted to go ahead and just do something quick to recap. You can tell I'm a little bit distracted here as I'm still setting these final settings. I just wanted to, there we go, save the thumbnail. Okay, we're good to go. We are really running up and running now. Should be here on Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, it has been a crazy, crazy couple of days. But at long last, we can say we know Donald Trump has won the presidency. We know the Republicans have won the Senate. We'll get more into that in a second. And it looks like they're going to win the House as well. So, going to do a last thing here before we jump into some results. Let some more folks get in to where they're watching real quick. We'll just share this stream real quick so we can have it up on the Fight and Revive Facebook page. And there we go. Okay, so that should be it. Up now on YouTube and on Facebook. So welcome, everyone. Appreciate you joining me here this evening. It has been, again, crazy, crazy couple of days. But we can say with gratitude and thankfulness that the Republicans have won a lot. They've won a lot. Obviously, we'll start with the presidency here. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up an additional screen for y'all so you can see the same stuff I'm seeing here. And here we go. Just go over here, and there you go. You can see the map now. So we do not have, we're over here in the Senate. We'll go to the Senate in a second. We're going to go over to the presidency for now. What a race it was. Trump currently at 295 to Kamala 226. He's been called, obviously. The race has been called for him. He's going to win Nevada. They've not called yet, but he's going to win that. He's going to win Arizona. Arizona, which as of the last few elections has completely forgotten what votes are or how to count them, but that's neither here nor there. So Arizona is going to go for Trump. Nevada is going to go for Trump, and that's going to put him up at 312 electoral votes, if I'm doing the math correctly, which I think I am, as I recall. Yeah, we streamed a long time the other night, and I ended about, I want to say it's about 10:30 maybe, maybe a little after. And yeah, we didn't quite know. It looked like it was going for Trump, but we weren't quite sure how things were looking yet. And yeah, despite all that, we were kind of worried, when the votes were pausing around 10:30 to 11, like, oh boy, this we've seen this one before, but nope. There have been about 20 million less votes for Kamala than Biden got in 2020. So some would raise some questions about where those 20 million votes from 2020 went, to which I would say, shut up, you conspiracy theorist. So yeah, you see here, Trump won 51%. We were talking about the vote numbers. He's up by 4 million or so, 4 million change on Kamala right now. 50.8% of the popular vote. Not only does Trump win the Electoral College like he did in 2016, not only does he get more popular vote than Kamala, he's over 50%, which is just crazy. Obviously, the last time we saw that happen was with George W. Bush in 2004. A resounding statement from the American people that they're tired of this far left lunacy. Trump, the crazy thing is too, yes, he won his swing states. He won Wisconsin by, what is that? It's 1.2%. He won Michigan by 1.5%, which was not at all expected that he would have a better night in Michigan than he did in Wisconsin at all. That was not expected at all. In Pennsylvania, 1.9% victory. That was a huge one for him. So he's winning the swing states. Obviously, he won Georgia by, what is that? It's 2.2%, his largest margin, which looks like Arizona might end up being his largest margin. He's up almost 6 points there. Now it's what, 5.5, I believe? No, it's 6. Yes, 5.5. Nevada, in Nevada, he's up, that's 3.7% in Nevada. So just been a crazy night. We'll get to some of those results in a second. The crazy thing is, too, even in deep blue states that Trump should be losing by a lot, California, for example, look at this. Trump lost by 17. I believe it was closer. It was very close to 30 in 2020. Trump loses by 17. In New York, Trump loses by 12 points. He lost by 23 to Biden in 2020. In New Jersey, I think the margin was 12 for Biden, if I recall correctly. Either way, Trump lost by 5 in New Jersey. That just doesn't happen. That's just crazy that Trump is bringing it that close. In Illinois, Trump loses by 8.5 in Illinois, which should be plus 15 for Kamala. It was just a horrible, dismal night for Kamala and the Dems. Just greatly underperforming 2020. You can cast all your, doubt on 2020 that you want. Whether or not it was legit, it was a horrible night for the Dems. Reverend Doctor says, what is the feelings on Lake in Arizona? So here's the thing. I do have a little bit of a nuanced opinion of that. It's not just one, she's going to win or she's going to lose. It doesn't look great for her right now, I'll be honest. However, if you look at the map here, she is down, and I need to go over to the Senate. Hold, please. Kari Lake is down the Senate by exactly 2 points. She has been trending in the right direction. Sorry. She has been trending in the right direction. Kari Lake has. She was down by 6 early in the evening. She's down by, that's a 50,000 vote margin. 70% of the votes still in Arizona because, again, they've forgotten how to count votes there. But you have Pima County, which is one of the really big ones of Tucson. She's down big. Maricopa down 5 points. Could be better, could be worse. Yuma, she is leading. She got 56% of the vote in there, 66, 80. And looking at these red areas, 60%, 68% in. So, I mean, with 38% of the vote remaining to come in Pima County, and in Maricopa, 32%. I just don't see Kamala getting enough out of the rest of these counties. I said Kamala, sorry. I don't see Kari Lake getting enough out of the rest of these counties to I don't see her getting enough out of the rest of these counties to make up for that. I could be wrong. And I just want to check something over here with Virginia. Sorry. Just want to check something out there real quick. I could be wrong, but I don't think Kari Lake is going to come out in top in Arizona, much like I don't think Sam Brown is going to come out in top in Nevada. This is one where I was optimistic early in the evening. It was looking decent. He started to trend in the right direction. But unfortunately, he's trailing Trump big time in Washoe County. Trump actually barely flipped Washoe County. Last I checked anyway, Sam Brown's trailing there by 7,000 votes, 80% in. In Clark County, 95% in, down by 12. The only hope he has is in Nye County. There's 45% of the vote still to come, and he's winning big there, but it's just not that as populous. And if I'm not mistaken, let me check here. No one has officially called this race yet. So I thought I had heard Nevada was called. It was not. So that is a good sign that no one has called this race yet. But it is very close, and I do think Jackie Rosen's probably going to come out on top. Absolutely, no problem. Thank you for commenting. I put out my Facebook post earlier today that one of the things I want to do with this live stream is just interact with y'all and answer your questions. So throw them in the comment section and on Facebook or YouTube, and I should be able to answer them. So I'm going to put up this banner we had the other night so we can go through it. These were our states we had to keep an eye on, our swing states in the presidential election. I want to get into talk a little more about the presidential before we move on to the Senate. Trump just absolutely dominated across the board. And I think, as was mentioned by a lot of folks, this is more of a Trump wave than it was a red wave, because we see the Senate candidates trailing in a lot of these races and trailing Trump by quite a bit more than they should. I mean, for example, let's look here. We're going to get up let's pull up our 2020 map. So hold on just a second. Here we go. One second. There we go. And we're just going to check out the map here. We're going to compare it to 2020 because I want to show you how well Trump did. Biden got 306 electoral votes in 2020. Trump got 232. Trump got 47% of the popular vote. Biden got 51. Let me flip back over here. Interestingly, look at that. Trump got less votes this year than he did in 2020. Still won the popular vote because Kamala is trailing by 18 million votes to where Biden was trailing, supposedly, or to where Biden was performing. So look here. Let's look at the states I specifically had to keep an eye on the screen. We'll look at Arizona first. Arizona, Trump lost to Biden by 0.4% in Arizona. This year, Trump is up right now 5.5% in Arizona. That's I just say five. I think that's 5. Let me see, 5. Yeah, nearly 6% flip. That is to where Biden was. In Nevada, Trump loses by 3.4% in Nevada. This time he just absolutely smokes Kamala. That's 3.9%. That is so a flip of like 7.3%, I think, of Arizona and Nevada. Let's look at Georgia and Michigan since I have those up. In Michigan, Trump lost to Biden by 2.8 points. This time he beats Kamala by 2.5. That's a 5.3% flip. In Georgia, we have a 0.3% win for Biden in 2020, just a 12,000 vote margin. 2024, Trump smokes Kamala, beats her by over 100,000 votes. Over 100,000 votes, and beats her by 2.2%. So I am doing that math. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is correct. 100. Sorry, I'm completely blanking there. I said 100,000 votes, and I started second guessing myself. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin are other ones. I never had any fear Trump was going to lose North Carolina, really. He did beat Biden by 1.3% there in 2020. Tight-ish race. In 2024, he again smokes Kamala. That's 3.3%. Not as, not quite as strong as I thought he would do even there, maybe. About where I expected, actually. But Mark Robinson may have dragged him down some there. But that is over a 200,000 vote margin in Sorry, again, I'm second guessing myself. That is close to 200,000 vote margin, if I'm reading this correctly, in North Carolina. I don't know why I was second guessing myself there. Let's see what else we have. Wisconsin. Go back over here. Wisconsin, Trump lost to Biden by 0.6%. Over here, 2024, Trump beats Biden by 0.8%. So he doubled his margin there. Wisconsin was still close. I'm sorry, he lost to Biden. So he beat it. He flipped it 0.8. So that's 1.2%. He flipped it. Did 1.2% better than he would have than he did in 2020. And lastly, am I forgetting anything here? Pennsylvania, the big one. Trump loses to Biden by 1.2% in Pennsylvania, comes back this year, flips it, where Trump wins Pennsylvania by 2.9%. Just a dominant showing. So, and that's just very impressive by Trump. Just a very impressive showing. So obviously those results were great. Trump did very well. In the Senate, we did trail behind. However, the three states which were most important, states most important to flip for the GOP were West Virginia, which we knew was going to happen. That was a given going into the night. Justice doubling the Democrat. In Ohio, Bernie Moreno pulls out a 4-point win. Very respectable showing in Ohio against a strong incumbent Sherrod Brown. In Montana, which was, I believe, the most money spent on a Senate race I know it was the most money spent on a Senate race in this election, and I think maybe ever is what I had heard. But still, even with that, a little bit of a scare at some point in the evening, but thought Jon Tester might come back. But no, with 97% of the vote in, Tim Sheehy wins by 7.4%. Tim Sheehy, I mispronounced his name. So he wins. That puts us up at 52 seats, sorry. And then in Pennsylvania, it's not reflected on here yet on CNN's map, but Pennsylvania has been called for Dave McCormick. He's going to win by 33,000 votes, over 6.5 million cast, over 6,600,000 votes cast. McCormick wins by about 33,000, 0.4%. A huge flip in Pennsylvania to give us some nice cushion in the Senate. It'll be 53 seats there. I already talked about Kari Lake when we were asked about it. 50,000 vote margin there. Probably not going to flip it. Nevada, Sam Brown probably going to fall just short. Nevada, of course, being the place where Adam Laxalt fell short 2 years ago in the Senate race by 8,000 votes. So we could see a very tight margin once this is all said and done. As far as the House goes, The good news is it looks like we're going to keep the House. Right now, the GOP, and I was looking at 2020. Sorry, I was on the wrong results there. I flipped over to the wrong page. Here we go. House results. So far, the GOP has netted 2 seats. They were coming to this with, I believe, a 220 seats in the House? Let me check. I think we currently have how many seats in the House? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure it was. Yes, I know. Let me see the per party. I want to get this right. I'm pretty sure. Yes, the GOP has 220. Dems have 212. And 3 vacant, I believe. So in this election, the GOP has flipped 6 House seats. The Dems have flipped 4, which nets us 2, which means if from here on out nothing else changes, the GOP ends up with 222 seats in the House. Now, is that going to happen is the question. We've still got some tight races. One I looked at specifically was Alaska. I watched going into here. I thought Mary Peltola would lose. Now, there weren't a bunch of Republicans splitting the vote up there, and it is ranked choice voting, so it's hard to tell. But it does appear that Mary Peltola is going to fall to Nick Begich. So there is a flip for us. That would be 3rd flip. So let's see here. I'm going to flip over here to the New York Times because they have a little bit of a better layout I like here. And move y'all over. Give me just 1 second here. Let's move you over to New York Times. Okay. Here you go. We have 210 for the GOP, 198 for the Dems. Let me make sure New York Times has 198 for the Dems. CNN has 196. So going off what the New York Times says, if the GOP currently has 210 seats, which they and CNN both agree, the GOP has 10 seats or 210 seats. If we look at the races the Republicans are currently leading, this puts us at 211, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, just 19. In Maine, 2nd, the Democrat currently leads. Very tight race there. In Iowa, the Marionette Miller Meeks in a very tight race, as she always is, it seems. And she's come back from behind. Looks like she's going to win that. Colorado's 8th. That one, a very close one as well. Could flip. I'm not exactly familiar with the layout of that one. As a matter of fact, let's do a little more studying on that. Colorado's 8th congressional district. Let's zoom in here because right now the Republicans should have, again, 211, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So of the uncalled races, I'm sorry, I missed it. I knew that didn't seem right. 20, 220, and 221. So the GOP should be coming out of this with 221 seats, which would pretty much track if nothing else changes. Now let's look at Colorado's 8th. Could we flip it here? Let's go back over to CNN. I'm going to zoom in here. Give me just a second. Colorado's 8th. Let's zoom in here and get some demographic data. If we can from CNN. Hold for just a second. Might need to. Let's see if New York Times lets me. I don't remember now. Colorado's 8th. Let's see if they'll let me see the district. They will not. I'm trying to see if they'll let me zoom in on the district and see the different localities. And it's not going to. Okay, so let's look at Colorado's 8th district results, and we'll wrap this up here shortly. It's only supposed to be about a half-hour stream. By the way, I did start a little late. A little factoid for you. I was going to start a little earlier, but we had a little bit of a farm emergency at our house. Not an emergency, but we have some guineas. We found one of them had been on a nest, hatched their eggs unbeknownst to us, and the Keats, which are what baby guineas are called, hatched. And so I was trying to catch them to get them put in a little brooder where they'd be safe and we can take care of them. Elijah, my man, good to see you, sir. And we did win the popular vote, taking away the annual Dem whining about the Electoral College is a piece of crap and the Founding Fathers are a bunch of, fuddy-duddies. What do they know anyway? And if this was like every other civilized country, the GOP would have lost. Not so this time. And Chris Hayes was already priming up that narrative, and he was whining about the other night on MSNBC about the Electoral College is really stupid and stuff. Kind of takes away that argument. So we'll go ahead and take these. Well, you know what? After we focus on this House election, we'll go back to these states to wrap it up. Let's see if I can get the results here for Colorado's 8th. Okay. So there's 3 counties, and the most populous one, the Democrat leads by 12, and the other 2 less populous ones, the Republican leads by 18 and 11. There's 81% of the most populous county in, 87 and 88% of the 2 less populous ones were the Republicans winning. So just based off of that, we're probably not going to win that race. But again, we're looking at 221 or so in the House for the GOP. Thanks for joining us here, folks, on YouTube and Facebook. Fight and Revive with Adam Boyer, a live stream here. I'll probably have more election coverage at some point. I'm not sure if we'll do another live stream for a while, but I figured this would be easier than trying to get everything together for a video, then edit and upload and everything. Then you just get to see my real raw reaction, and we kind of, this way we're up to speed real time. So I'm not behind in those results as I'm reporting them to you. So it looks like the GOP is going to end up at 221 in the House. Let's look at these last couple of states to compare how Trump did to 2020. And let's go ahead and get this over. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and we'll just go back over to President in the New York Times. I said keep an eye on these states. We're probably not going to flip, and none of them did, but keep an eye on Minnesota, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Virginia. Let's take a look here at New Mexico. In 2020, Biden won New Mexico by a big margin, won it by 11 points, roughly, in 2020. Trump making huge inroads with Latinos, Hispanics, loses New Mexico by 6. And based on how Kamala is doing in states, she should be winning even bigger than she is, like in California, Illinois, and New York, and New Jersey. Not at all surprising. Interestingly, Washington State was huge for Kamala, 59-38. I went over to the wrong thing there. Yeah, Trump actually lost to Biden by 20 in Washington State in 2020. Kamala actually beat Trump by 21. So that's like one of the only states where she did better. The Northwest, very liberal, obviously. Minnesota. So we look at New Mexico. Minnesota, Trump only loses by 4 in Minnesota in 2020. Trump lost to Biden there by 7 and change, I believe. And let's check out here. What else did I say? I said New Hampshire. And in New Hampshire, Trump only loses by 3. Lost to Hillary by very narrow margin there in 2016. Almost flipped it. Loses to Biden by bigger than that by 3, or loses to Harris by 3. But he lost to Biden in 2020 by, that would be 7. So, I mean, again, making inroads there. Flipping it back around. I don't think all these trends are going to keep trending and tracking to the next presidential election necessarily. But I do think it's an excellent sign for the GOP. And we're going to have to, this election is going to be studied by both sides to see what went wrong. For the Dems, that's kind of obvious. And what did Trump do so well? Last state was Virginia. Obviously, Biden winning Virginia by 10 points and change. Yeah, in 2020. Here, Kamala only beats Trump by 5. Only beat him by Trump by a little over 200,000 votes. Here in Virginia, turnout was pretty strong here in Southwest Virginia where I am. So a very encouraging result, ironically as it sounds, for Virginians. After losing huge in 2020, it seemed like the state was a total loss. 2021, we had those unexpected flips in the statewide races. We take back the House of Delegates here in Virginia. Now, granted, a lot of that, most of that, dare I say, it was a good campaign by Glenn Youngkin. He capitalized off McAuliffe's mistake, but Terry McAuliffe did put his foot in his mouth many times. So without his mess ups and a horrible national environment, Virginia wouldn't have flipped. But the fact that it did, and now Kamala's only winning it by 5, gives us some hope, like, maybe it's not an entirely lost cause. Next year here in Virginia, we have Abigail Spanberger, radical Congress lady from the 7th, which she's not running for that. She's running for governor next year. We had an open seat there, narrowly lost the 7th here in Virginia. So next year in Virginia, we have all the statewide offices up again, governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. We have House of Delegates up again. And then 2027, the Senate will be up. Senate was up here in 2023. Virginia has off-year elections. So we're one of the few states in the country that is unfortunate enough, as it has been said, to have elections every single year. So all that to say, encouraging results in Virginia. So all that said and done, I think that about does it as far as our results go. I will mention that Trump, so used to saying that now. I will mention in Nebraska, we had a pro-life amendment last time I checked anyway, passed. I believe it did pass, a pro-life amendment limiting abortion after the first trimester. That was great. In South Dakota, a pro-abortion amendment failed. In Florida, amendment, the controversial Amendment 4, which was a kill 'em all amendment, as Steve Deace has called it, which would have legalized abortion till really late in the pregnancy when almost all abortions happen before then, overriding the state 6-week ban. That one did fail DeSantis and the various PACs spending money there, and the hard fighting DeSantis and his GOP in Florida were able to keep it under 60. Ron DeSantis is just the man. I'm not trying to, I don't want to harp on it too much. This election is about the GOP this time around. In Trump, I'm not a sore loser at all from the primary. I still wish DeSantis had won and he was our nominee. I think he still would have won. That's neither here nor there. I'm thrilled to have Trump win, have the GOP take at the House and Senate, and I hope DeSantis is our nominee in 2028. And I think it's looking to advance at this point, but it's just way too early. Because in 2016, we would have said, well, in 2024, maybe Mike Pence will be the nominee. So all that to say, Vance may very well be the nominee in 2028. Could be DeSantis, could be Ramaswamy running forward again. We'll just see what happens. It'll be a real battle. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about it in the live stream here. But feel free to go down to the comments and let me know what y'all think. And we can talk in the comments after this is the stream is over even. So yeah, well, now we're gonna start seeing, what does Trump do with his various cabinet positions. Where does RFK get put? Where does Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, if he gets one, get put? All sorts of interesting stuff to come in the days to come. Keep watching the House. We're going to keep watching. I would expect we'll know by, I would think, the end of tomorrow who controls the House. And right now, it definitely looks like it will be the GOP. So with all that said, folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. And if you'd like to see more live streams from Fight and Revive, let me know. And yeah, we'll definitely be having more next year with some big primaries going on in Virginia and some again, lots of big elections in Virginia, local, statewide. So yeah, more of that coming, more content as always coming from Fight and Revive. So with all that said, make sure to be thankful to the Lord for giving us this victory. Many people, myself included, were praying that not only would we win these elections, but if not, that we would be satisfied in the results and trust in him, in the Lord, and be content knowing that whatever happened would be for the good of Christians. So again, very, very comforting words. I'm hoping that through this election, even those, you see all the compilations of the people screaming on TikTok or whatever, and hoping they will find some peace and solace in turning to Christ as their Lord and Savior. So with all that said, folks, it's been a great couple of days. I'm tired. I have a church function tonight that I'm going to, and I'm going to go home and go to bed and see if I can't, by tomorrow morning, if I won't have fully recovered from my sleep-deprived last couple of nights. So with all that said, thank you for watching, folks. I appreciate it. This has been Fight and Revive with Adam Boyer. Have a great rest of your week. God bless America.